My Samsung Steam Smart Drying diagnostic code is saying Clg, and I've cleaned the front and back filters and it still runs this code and my dryer is not heating.
Do you know the model of your Samsung dryer? How old is it?
About 5 to 6 years old.
How long has this been going on with your Samsung dryer? What have you tried so far?
In March it did this and I replaced the heating element. Now I changed the heating element again and it's not heating at all. It was just today I ran the diagnostics. And I've cleaned the dilters persistently.
Anything else we should know to help you best?
GV50F986E model number.
Hello, this is Mark. I'll be assisting you today. You will see some phone call pop-ups. Those are sent by the site automatically. Ignore them if you do not want a phone call. Again. Ignore the pop-ups. The site sends those, not me.
Okay, thank you.
What is going on with your dryer is that the main computer is getting information from a sensor that reads higher than normal temps in the dryer. So that results in a Clg code on the display. It can be from a faulty sensor or thermostat, or it can also be from a lack of airflow in the housing.
We can continue.
One thing I always try first is the shut-off breaker to dryer, or unplug, for 5 minutes, then turn back on. Sometimes that will reset the computer board and the code will go away.
I did that and that is not working.
If that does not work, then the next thing is to check the airflow of the dryer. To determine if the venting is clogged in the dwelling, is to remove the dryer vent hose from the back of dryer, then turn on the dryer to see if the code goes away. If it goes away, then you know that the venting is clogged from the dryer to outside, and you will need to clean that out. If it does not go away, then I suggest you clean the dryer venting and blower wheel area of any built-up lint that would cause a decreased airflow situation in the dryer, which would cause higher than normal temps, and thus lead the Clg code. Again, if that has no effect, then you will need to check to see if the dryer thermistor is faulty or another sensor, which would require the use of an OHM meter if you have one.
I cleaned it with vent brush from the front and cleaned the back at a vacuum hose. With a vacuum.
Okay. It's still an issue of cleaning the blower wheel housing though. If it builds up in there, you would need to disassemble it enough to access that blower wheel area. However, if you remove the dryer exhaust vent from the back and try to run it, that would tell you if there was a clog in the venting from the dryer. That is the next thing to check. That will tell us if the vent tubing is clogged. If doing that still gives you the Clg code, then we know the issue is inside the dryer. It's always best to try the easy fixes first, which will also point us in the right direction.
I took the vent hose off and cleaned the inside of the back of the dryer and ran the diagnostics with the hose off and the Clg code still came on. I do not see any built up in the back of the dryer.
Okay. Great. Good thinking on your part. The issue is going to be one in which either a thermistor has failed or thermostat failure, or possibly an issue with the control board. But the control board is less likely.
Okay, let me try to check the blower wheel housing. I will let you know what happens. I just changed the entire heating element last week and it still did not work, no heat.
To be honest, Samsung has a lot of issues with their thermistors. So much that I've gone back several times to replace the same thermistor and it kept failing on a dryer I worked on that I can recall, where I had to return and deal with Samsung about this very issue.
I replaced it once in March and then when I replaced it again last week right after I replaced it, there was no heat.
If it's not heating, it's possible that the thermal cutoff fuse has failed. It's on the back side of the blower housing, next to the thermistor. Check this URL address and you can find the part and its location on the diagram. This part could have gone out, which would then cause the dryer to stop heating. https://www.searspartsdirect.com/product/1J8S9DVDKF0026401/DC4700016A.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you. I'll let you know.
Next to that part is the dryer thermistor. It's here. https://www.searspartsdirect.com/product/S8LJK250K0026401/EDC3200007A. If I was you, I would replace both at the same time, as the thermistor is a common part to cause issues on Samsung dryers.
Also, what about the CLG code that comes up on the diagnostics?
The computer board gets information from the thermal cutoff fuse. If it opens or fails, then the computer board will often give that error.
Do you know a video link I can go to see how to get to the lower housing?
It can also give that code if the thermistor failed too.
Oh, okay.
I'll see if I can locate a video for you. Here is a good one. Not the exact model of dryer you have, as the thermistor is on the back side of the blower wheel assembly, but a decent video to access the area. https://u2.b/wildcatesI.
Is that on the heating element? If so, I replaced that whole thing.
As I mentioned, it's on the back side of the blower wheel housing assembly.
I replaced that part also.
You replaced the thermal cutoff?
When I bought the part, it came with all 3 replacements and the heating element.
Or the thermistor? 2 of those replacement thermostats are on the heater element assembly, so you must have gotten the thermistor. And the last part would be the thermal cutoff. That part does not usually come with the element, so you will want to check the thermal cutoff for continuity, as that is the part that would cause the element to not work if it went out. One other thing to check. When you start the dryer, you should be able to hear the heat circuit relay click closed, which then supplies voltage to the heat element. If you don't hear it click on, it's possible that the computer control board, that has the relay on it, has failed and would need to be replaced. So if all other parts are good and new, and it still will not heat up, then you will want to replace the main control board. Found here, https://www.searspartsdirect.com/product/E3UX3W7400264001/EDC9201310A. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Doesn't affect what you pay at all, just whether or not the site pays me for my time. You can give your rating by selecting one of the 5 stars located on the top right of the question page. Have a great day.
Okay, I'll check for the thermal cutoff and see if that's the problem. Thank you so much for your help.
You are welcome, happy to help out. Good luck, and feel free to ask any other questions that come up.
I sure will, you're excellent.
Happy to help.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.